Have you ever felt the weight of the shadows in the forest when the snow falls thick and the night stretches endlessly? There is a tale, older than the frost, that clings to bare branches, of something that stalks the darkened woods. Its name is Krampus, and while some dismiss it as myth, there are those who swear by its grim truth. The legend of Krampus continues to fascinate and terrify, raising questions about the origins of fear and the power of folklore. They say Krampus is no ordinary monster. His towering form is draped in matted fur, blackened and coarse, as if the darkness of the world congealed to shape him. His twisted horns scrape the low-hanging boughs, and his eyes burn like coals, flickering with something ancient and malevolent. His claws, long and sharp, can carve through wood and flesh alike. When the icy wind carries the sound of rattling chains, it's said to be his herald, a grim prelude to his arrival. The legend of Krampus stretches back centuries, entwined with the earliest winter traditions. In the old days, when winters were harsh and survival was uncertain, villagers whispered of a creature that came not to bless, but to punish. Krampus was the shadow to St. Nicholas's light, the enforcer of morality, who ensured that those who defied tradition and kindness faced the consequences. Some say Krampus is born from the primal fears of humanity, a reflection of the darkness within. Others believe he was summoned by forces older than the world itself, created to balance the benevolence of St. Nicholas. Whatever his origins, Krampus is not a creature easily dismissed. His presence lingers in the stories told by firelight, in the warnings passed from parent to child. The hunters who roam the mountains tell their own stories. They speak of glimpses caught in the corner of their eye, a hulking figure that vanishes when turned to face directly. They describe nights when the forest falls eerily silent, when even the wolves dare not howl. Once, a shepherd claimed to have seen those burning eyes watching from the trees, and for years afterward, he refused to leave his home after dark. Krampus's punishments are as varied as they are cruel. In some Alpine regions, legends tell of children whipped with birch branches, their cries carried off by the wind. Others speak of victims dragged to his lair, a cavern deep in the mountains where light never reaches. It's said the wicked endure torment until their screams fade into silence. Yet there are whispers of those who return, hollow and haunted, their eyes forever avoiding the light. The fear Krampus instills is palpable. Animals sense it too. Dogs refuse to leave their homes, cowering in corners with wide, fearful eyes. Birds take flight en masse, abandoning the trees as if the forest itself had turned against them. Even the wind seems to hold its breath when he's near, leaving a stillness that cuts deeper than the cold. In some traditions, there are attempts to keep Krampus at bay. On the night of December 5th, bonfires are lit, and villagers don masks in grotesque mimicry of his features, hoping to ward him off. Drums echo through the streets, and torches burn bright. Yet, even amidst these rituals, a sense of unease persists, with many families keeping their doors locked and their children close. In certain villages, there are marks left behind, claw gouges on wooden doors, strange symbols drawn in ash near hearths. These are said to be warnings or reminders from Krampus himself, though no one dares to confirm their origin. In the remote Tyrolean village of Gamsheim, elders speak of these symbols as protective sigils against his wrath. Local historian Wilhelm Bauer documented one such door in his 1932 work, Alpine Folklore, noting that the claw marks matched no known animal, and that villagers feared removing the symbols would invite misfortune. For those brave enough to follow the signs, the footprints tell a story of their own. They appear suddenly, leading to and from homes where tragedy has struck. The prints often vanish without explanation, as though their maker dissolved into the air itself. Some who have tried to follow them speak of caves hidden deep within the mountains or ancient trees whose roots form unnatural hollows. None who ventured further ever returned. In modern times, the legend of Krampus has spread beyond the mountains. Stories of children disappearing in the dead of night, or of strange claw marks found on doors and windows, persist in cities far removed from the Alpine wilderness. Parents warn their children to behave, invoking Krampus as a deterrent. But whether these tales are rooted in truth or simply borrowed from the past, they leave a lingering unease. There are unsettling accounts from travelers who swear they felt watched on isolated roads. Some hear the distant clang of chains where no man walks. Others claim to find hoofprints in the snow, impossibly large and unaccompanied by any human tracks. These stories grow in number each year, as if Krampus's reach has extended far beyond his origins. And what of the songs? The villagers sing them still, though rarely with joy. The melodies are haunting, their lyrics cryptic, hinting at an origin shrouded in mystery. Wilhelm Bauer, in his analysis of these traditional songs, noted the use of specific minor keys and dissonant harmonies that create a palpable sense of unease. He theorized that these musical elements, documented in sheet music dating back to the 18th century, may be remnants of pre-Christian solstice rituals designed to both appease and ward off malevolent spirits. Perhaps the most unnerving part of Krampus's story is how it has adapted over centuries. No longer confined to the Alpine slopes, his legend has taken root in new places. Disappearances, unexplained noises, and strange tracks in the snow are all attributed to him, even in sprawling cities where such tales seem out of place. It's as if Krampus himself evolves, finding new ways to remind the world of his presence. During the long nights of winter, when the snow smothers the land and the trees creak under its weight, his presence feels closer than ever. Each gust of wind, each groan of the timber, becomes a reminder of his legend. This is the season when Krampus is said to roam most freely, unbound and relentless. The fear of Krampus is not confined to the Alpine regions. Echoes of similar figures can be found in other cultures, suggesting a shared human experience of winter's darkness. In remote Carpathian communities, for example, there are tales of the Strigoi, a malevolent spirit that emerges during the winter solstice. Depicted with cloven hooves and a taste for human flesh, it bears striking similarities to Krampus, hinting at a common root in ancient folklore. In another account, villagers near a frozen lake reported finding large cracks in the ice, leading to a hole wide enough to swallow a man. Around the edges of the opening were claw marks, as though something had clawed its way through. Though no one dared investigate further, rumors spread that the lake held a passage to Krampus's lair. Modern skeptics try to explain these tales with logic, calling them exaggerations or misunderstandings. But those who have grown up hearing the stories know better than to dismiss them. The footprints, the chains, and the eerie silence of the woods in winter are not so easily explained away. For them, Krampus is as real as the snow that blankets their homes. The shadow of Krampus looms largest where the winter is harshest. Isolated mountain villages still carry out rituals to this day, combining reverence with fear. They carve grotesque masks, parade effigies, and burn offerings. Some say these practices are nothing more than tradition, but others claim they are acts of desperation, meant to appease the one who comes when the night grows longest. Stories pass down from generation to generation, evolving but never fading. Each storyteller adds their own flourish, their own twist, ensuring the legend of Krampus remains alive. It's not merely a tale of fear, but one of survival, of understanding the balance between kindness and cruelty. It reminds us that the line between light and shadow is thin, especially when the nights are long. A more recent tale speaks of a storm that swept through a small town nestled in the shadow of the Alps. As the snow piled higher, residents awoke to find hoofprints circling their homes. The tracks, impossibly large, began at no discernible point and ended abruptly. Though no harm came to the town that night, the unease remained, and some whispered that they were being watched by unseen eyes. In the depths of the mountains, an abandoned cabin was discovered by hikers. Inside, the walls were scored with deep scratches, and remnants of chains were found strewn across the floor. A tattered journal, its ink smudged, spoke of a traveler who had sought refuge there one winter night. The final entry read only, "It watches, it waits. When the biting wind howls through the mountain passes and the snow falls thick, be mindful of the dark. Lock your doors, light your fires, and keep your family close." Whether Krampus is a creature of myth or a shadow that walks among us, his legend endures for a reason. In the quiet of the longest nights, who's to say what stirs just beyond the edge of the firelight? Thank you for joining me today for this holiday horror. If you enjoyed this video, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more spooky tales. This has been The Phantom Files, and until next time, remember to stay curious, stay vigilant, and always question what is lurking in the shadows. Happy holidays to all.